This video is about a 10-point buck I killed on opening day of Georgia's archery season in 2022. I don't have the actual footage of the shot, but I do have a lot of trail camera pictures. I want to provide a lot of my strategy and tactics and what I was thinking and how I plan to kill this buck and a lot of the planning that went up into it. And of course, I do have pictures of the deer after I harvested it. The property that I'm hunting is a small tract. It's less than 10 acres, but surrounded by other woods. And it's next to a busy street and a shopping area. I hunted last year, and I think I had pictures of this buck on trail camera, but I never actually saw him. But this year, I put my camera out and my corn mineral block in July, and I started getting pictures of him. And he was bigger, of course, and I knew that this was the one I wanted to target for this year. So I kept getting pictures of him. So about in late August, I put my feeder in there. And that way I didn't have to go in and out as much. And there's always a risk there because sometimes you put a feeder in, something new, it spooks them. That happened to some other bucks that I was hunting, but he didn't spook. He had a picture of him actually looking at it like kind of curious, but he kept coming. So as it got closer to the season, I was getting pictures of him almost every single day coming in the evening. And I put in a cell camera there, a Reveal Tacticam. And he was coming pretty regularly, so I knew that my chances of getting him were pretty good because he was consistently coming in the daylight and coming almost every single day. And as you can see in some of these pictures that I'm putting in, he was looking pretty good and he was coming consistently. And on September 8th, he shed his velvet, and they always look a little bit smaller when they do that. But the opening day was on the 10th, and I was ready for him when that day came. So opening day finally arrived. I hunted somewhere else in the morning, and I saved this hunt for the afternoon. So when I got there around 4 o'clock, dark was about 8 o'clock, and I checked my cell camera one last time, and there were 2 little bucks at the feeder. So I waited about 20 minutes since the last picture to give them time to move off because I didn't want to walk in there and have them blow and run off and everything. So after about 20 minutes, I walked in, sure enough, the buck was nearby, saw me, blew and ran off. I thought, oh, what am I gonna do? I hope it didn't ruin my chances. So I went in and picked out a pine tree about 15 yards from the feeder I'd already picked out. This area's got a lot of branches in the 10 to 20 foot range. You get up and all you can see is branches and leaves, but I already trimmed a shooting lane. And that day, there wasn't a definitive wind. It kind of shifts a little bit, but from what I could tell from the trail camera pictures, he'd been coming in from the northeast and from the south mainly, and I was set up on the northwest side. So I got set up there, and before I climbed the tree, I put some corn on the side of the feeder on the ground that was closest to me to get him to come around on my side so I have a clearer shot. So I got set up, and about 5 o'clock, 2 small fawns came in and they started feeding around. And at this point, I stood up and I held my bow because I wanted to be completely ready. I didn't want him to show up and me not be ready. And at 5:35, he showed up. All the trail camera pictures had him showing up about 6:30 or so, but this day, for some reason, he showed up earlier. It may have been because it was cloudy, I don't know. Anyway, he came up and I was so excited. He worked his way around the feeder and came him to my side, and when he was 15 yards broadside, I drilled him. I use a heavy arrow, about 450 grains. I use a fixed blade, 3-blade Muzzy, which I think gets more pass through. The arrow goes completely through the deer, and that's what happened. The arrow went completely through the deer. He tore off running. I thought I heard what sounded like him crashing a little ways up the hill. I wasn't positive, so I waited about 30 minutes to go down and look for him. And during this process, my cell camera took pictures of the deer seconds before I shot him, and then a picture of me. And then I went down to get the arrow. There's the arrow. Let's go find him.
buddy. There he is. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. You can go far. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah.
So the buck was a 10-pointer. He field dressed just under 150 pounds, which is a pretty good buck for Georgia. And I was pretty thrilled, obviously, from getting a very handsome buck with my bow on opening day. And the plan all came together. I tracked him on the cell camera, coming to the feeder for several weeks, and everything just came according to plan. I was pretty happy about that. And it just shows that sometimes you do your homework. If everything is planned out and taken care of as best you can, a lot of times it does plan out that you get your buck. And that don't always happen. They're wild, unpredictable deer, but in this case it did, and I was pretty happy about it.